Hi, I'm Michael Arnold, and in this video in the Secrets, Lies and Fertility series, I want to talk about success rates for IVF, particularly with regard to the difference between unexplained infertility and all other causes of infertility. And there's this common idea that if you have unexplained infertility, then IVF is going to be much more successful than if you have a range of other problems that have been found to be medically explained. And this is what probably a lot of doctors will say and maybe believe as well. I hear this a lot. Okay, yes, you've got unexplained infertility. Let's put you on IVF. There's a really good chance it's going to work. And I'm sure it's well-meaning. That there's no kind of malice behind this. But unfortunately, the statistics don't bear this out. So I did some research and I found that, first of all, the data provided by the Human Fertilization and Embryo Authority in the UK, which is the main regulatory body for IVF, that shows that in recent years, about 45% of all cases of IVF are for unexplained infertility, which is quite a high number. But interestingly enough, they don't break down the success rates by cause of fertility. And I had to go to a US website which provides data for all cases of IVF in the US to find answers to that question. And what I found was actually very interesting. So first of all, there's a few categories. I'll provide the data. There's a link below this video. There's a few categories where actually the statistics for unexplained infertility were lower. The success rate for IVF for unexplained infertility was lower than all other causes of fertility, all other causes of infertility, which is kind of not what you'd expect. Overall, I think on balance, I haven't done a statistical analysis on it. It would be a huge job, but the overall, I don't think there's actually a significant difference, to be honest, between the rates of IVF success for unexplained infertility and all other causes of infertility. But it's certainly a long way from this idea that you've got a much higher chance of success if you have unexplained infertility by having IVF, because this is the statistics based on thousands of cases in the US shows that there isn't a difference. Whatever cause of infertility, whether it's unexplained or a whole range of medically explained conditions, there's no difference. In the UK, if you're under 35, the national average success rate is 31%, depending on which year you look at it. It kind of varies slightly. If you're between 35 and 37, I think it's about 24%, and then it falls rapidly from there. So the success rate isn't as high as people are led to believe. That's the first thing to take. And I think there's a reason why there isn't any difference in the success rate, regardless of whether you have unexplained infertility or not. IVF can do a lot of things. I don't doubt that. And for some people, I do recommend it, and particularly if it's alongside a natural approach. But there's certain things that it can't address. So the American Medical Association now acknowledges that 90% of all illness is caused by stress. And I talk a lot about the neuroscience behind this and how your brain releases chemicals, which then causes chemicals like cortisol to be released by your adrenal glands. And this has a huge impact on fertility. So although many doctors will acknowledge that stress has an impact on your fertility, they won't know how to address it. And they can do a lot in terms of helping the eggs to be fertilized and collecting lots of eggs and stimulating the ovaries to produce more and more eggs, so that you have a lot to collect and fertilize. But the next stage of actually getting the eggs to implant, they have no control over. And that really depends on the state of your body. Depends on the blood flow to the reproductive system, depends on the womb lining, it depends on your stress hormones, and these are things that they have very little control over. So anyway, I'm going to post some links to the website where you can find the statistics, compare the success rates for IVF for different causes of fertility. And there's also an article called "Are We Overusing IVF?", which looks at IVF for unexplained infertility and explores the idea that perhaps for certain people, the potential side effects of IVF aren't worth the benefits that are potential from IVF. Not everyone, but there are certain people that this article published in the British Medical Journal suggests the evidence doesn't support the use of IVF for those cases. So I hope you found this information useful, and I look forward to talking to you next time.